This is Game Studies India Adda.
Hi everyone, this is Poonam, and this is the second podcast in our first person encounters series. Today we have Mr. Satyajit Chakraborty with us, who is a game development genius and is the founder of the award-winning Flying Robot Studios, which is based out of Kolkata. So hi Satyajit, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me here.
No, it's our pleasure.
Yes.
So we are doing like the first series of podcasts we are doing. It's basically on how we, as in Indian, how we started our first interaction with, first encounter with video games. So tell us about your first encounter with video games. Like that should
Oh,
be a good starting point.
oh, first encounter with video games. I'm not not a person who have a kind of strong long-term memory, you know. So maybe some of them can be like imaginative. I don't know. Maybe my mind has made them up or something. But as far as much I can kind of stretch my memory, I must have kind of played those kind of Nintendo uh, clone kind of consoles that were coming with that you used to play with TV, you know.
Yeah, I
So
had one of those.
Yes.
yeah, so and I remember enjoying one of the multiplayer game, two-player game, the tank game. The tank you have to kind of
Yeah.
control a tank
In
and
the
shoot
last
through walls.
podcast, I mentioned that. I think
Yeah, I
I
forgot the name of the game.
yeah,
Um,
Tank Wars. I
some,
think.
maybe I that is too much for my memory to actually remember the name. But I remember that game only. Mostly, I don't remember any other game. That must be like that was like a fun thing, and we used to play it, you know, and me and my brothers. It was like a joint family then.
Achha.
So it was a nice party and all. Um, I actually remember longing for playing that game, you know, like and every time the mother or whatever one of the kind of elders will come by and kind of send us to kind of studying or something like that, you know. But these are maybe kind of a little bit far-fetched. I don't remember strongly. I remember though that game, you can tell. That game was my first encounter with any kind of video games. Yes, that would
And
be
like,
it.
when did you shift to like PC and other games?
PC, I shifted to PC much later, much later. Like I'm from a humble family, didn't have any PC to actually for my studying hour. So I loved coding. When I was getting frustrated at some institute that I was studying in, because of the limited kind of they tell that used to kind of tell that as laboratory time, like the computer is a laboratory or something like that. That's the PC time or something like that. So now whoever codes knows the coding a little bit, just having a half an hour slot or 1 hour slot for kind of some kind of coding is nothing. Like your work may kind of stretch a bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I was not kind of I was frustrated with that, not able to code on something. So I kind of like two, three, four friends of mine actually started a little business or something like that.
Oh,
Little,
wow.
yeah. So where we that was my first kind of business startup. You know that the startup thingy was not there yet. You know, So forming a business was about you are going to do nothing in your life, so you are a gone case. So then that's why you're kind of doing business. You don't have any job, or you won't be getting any job, something like that. So we
How old were you back then?
yeah. So I actually kind of bought my computer. That computer I remember like was like 25K or something like that.
Wow.
We four friends kind of bought that together, and we kind of it was a wonderful ride actually. That part of my life where I kind of got my computer and was able to actually code through the day through night, making several things, wonderful things, and also like play games. Those were DOS games actually.
Right, right, right.
There was though no, I don't think those those Quake or the first generation of kind of third-person shooters came a little later. We used to have kind of series or something like that. I just, as far as I can remember, and no, 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 not even CDs. Those are the floppy age,
Mm-hmm.
Have
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you
yeah, yeah,
actually seen any floppy disk? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, okay. So those were a floppy age. So we used to kind of load the DOS games into those floppies, and there was some wonderful games. I don't remember them fully, but mostly like side scrollers or some shoot 'em ups or something like that. We used to enjoy the shoot 'em ups and all. That was wonderful, and we also kind of got intrigued by the how those were coded actually.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, there was no way to learn that how they were coded. It's still actually, if you go for learning how the first Pac-Man was coded,
Right.
you'll find there is actually no information. There is no actual code.
And
So
what year was this, Satyajit?
don't that is would be like two. Let me try again. Anyway, maybe it would be 95-ish,
Oh, wow.
maybe
Mm.
95-ish or something like that. And you have is maybe kind of earlier than that, maybe earlier than that.
Mm.
So I don't. The Windows have just came up, like Windows
Right.
like 3.1, Windows 95, something like that, and after that we got into when those Quake came. Quake was like, oh man, it was a wonderful, like it was groundbreaking. The 3D graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We used to play 2D games. And Quake was like, what the hell? We used to dream in Quake, like yeah, we had a lot of dream. I had a lot of dream in Quake, like I was fighting through or something like that. So that was the time it occurred to me like these things can actually impact you very in a deeper sense than
Yes.
movie or any other medium. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't relieve a movie scene or something like that into a dream. The movie maybe if some of the if maybe it can occur for some person, but never occurred
but
to me.
the games are like more interactive. Like you have to give
Yeah,
an
yeah,
input.
it gives feedback.
So immersive,
It gives
right?
feedback.
Mm.
Yeah, it gives feedback. No, nothing else gives feedback.
True, true.
No, no. We are organisms who kind of are dependent upon feedback.
Yeah,
When the feedbacks ended, we are kind of dead. So the feedback is a intrinsic part and for ourselves, and our all our existence become lively when there is feedback in something, anything, and we called it we tend to tell it like living or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So uh, the game was kind of living. The game was something like a living thing. and the graphics and all, our brain were exposed to some 3D environment which is not reality,
Right.
for the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So I don't blame my brain to dream in Quake. We did dreamed in Quake. Games can really affect you. Like my son, he dreams in Minecraft. You know,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it had many dreams in Minecraft. So anyway, that happened. That happened. The Quake One, Half-Life, Quake Tournament, Counter Strike, then all those Metal Gear series. The Metal Gear was kind of was another milestone in my game playing kind of thing. The
Yeah. Yeah.
first time I most of the games that I play I'm a big fan of Half-Life or similar genre. So
Hmm.
Half-Life was a wonderful game, like a perfect mix of where gameplay is the king. Half-Life, there is a narrative, but the narrative stay always kind of doesn't push, kind of is doesn't overwhelm you in
Hmm.
Half-Life. Like
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
stays in
Yeah.
the back at the back. But Metal Gear series, the narrative is mostly the king. Mostly when the cutscene starts, it never kind of stops. All the Kojima games kind of suffer from that, like long cutscenes. So
Yeah.
Metal Gear series were the first game where I kind of enjoyed all the immersive voice acting and cutscenes and the drama, and then the, I enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, yeah, and the depth of the stories, depth of the characters, all it was a wonderful experience. I've played many games, but I remember these three games primarily, like Quake, Half-Life, and Metal Gear Solid series. Yeah.
So at what point did you like decide like no, I want to make games? Like when was this?
Oh, look, um, I loved coding, and so whenever I tried to make games when I was learning coding. So, but about 3D games and all, I fiddled with a lot with those APIs and all, which graphics kind of API that used to come with C++, and made a little small games and all. And after that, when Quake came out, like it came out with a lot of kind of scripting tools, modding tools, and all. So we used to mod a lot, like make levels of Counter Strike, levels of Quake. It was like a
Actually,
fantasy, every kind of level designers, and it still is a very the source engine that is used for Quake or Half-Life or Valve products. The source
okay.
engine is still a very viable thing, a very wonderful thing for modding, for making your own game. You can even make films out of it. It's a
Yeah, no,
very
I
mm,
remember that when we used to play Age of Empires, I once tried to mod a total campaign of Ramayan based on Age of
mm,
Empires 2. So it didn't happen, but I
modding
tried eventually. Yeah.
modding is super thing, is a super thing. And maybe that was the our kind of first delving into game design, like
Hmm.
mod in modding, you don't have to actually do the actual coding. You can only reuse the scripts.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you are limited to that, but those scripts are wonderful. You can do a lot with that. You can make your own levels, make your own enemies, how will they behave, whatever. So these things were kind of game designers tools. These modding things, these level editors, these are
Yeah.
actually game designers tools. Nowadays, all the game designers use these things. So we were kind of amateurish game designers back then, using those modding tools to make mods of levels of Counter Strike, where we were trying to understand, like what would be the inserting point, what would be the corners, how the level should look like, researching about it. Those are all game design thing. We didn't know about that, like it was game design thing, but it was all game design decisions and all works were actually game design. So um, those were my first things into game design, and those after that I tried to actually get a engine, game engine, because I figured out like it was too much to make your own game engine. So there, I remember there was an engine called A5 engine. It's not available right now. The A5 engine was coming with C++ libraries and all, and it has a nice level editor as well. I remember making some kind of like I like helicopters, okay, especially attack helicopters. I am very fond of machineries and all, so I like the aesthetics of like
Hmm.
Apache helicopter or Russian helicopters, Hind and all. So I love those. I dig those. So this is my kind of orientation. So I made a helicopter game over there. I kind of was trying to. I remember I loved a shot from Rambo 2, First Blood
Mhm.
Part 2. That you if you remember, there was a some kind of like a helicopter chase over there at the end of the movie, where the Russian kind of military boss or something was chasing with a Hind helicopter, chasing the helicopter of of Rambo of Stallone. I
Mhm.
think it was some kind of like a, I don't remember the Black Hawk or whatever, not Black Hawk or something else. Uh, and they were flying through the valleys and all. So I was trying to recreate that in that game. So
Wow.
maybe that is kind of made some kind of like a controls or scheme, which is I remember having fun with that. That was
What was the
something.
game's name?
I don't know. There was not a name, helicopter game or whatever.
Okay.
It was like I made it and I played it. Only person that who played it was me actually.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay.
So there was no way to actually let people play your game. So there was no
Hmm.
internet, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's true.
how will you distribute a
That is
game
true. That is
through
true.
CD?
Yeah.
So there was no way out for anybody who wants to do something in game development in
Hmm.
back those days. There was no way out.
Yeah, it must have been such a
All the
challenge
yeah,
back
all
then.
the doors were closed.
Yeah.
Without internet, without this game engine, people don't realize how much privileged they are nowadays. Now the kids nowadays, they don't realize it.
Yes.
Just let me take them to our age, and they'll see. Uh, yeah. So this happened.
My God.
Acha. Yeah, but now but like this like these days that is like now it's a long way from then, right? Now what you are
Mm.
doing now, I mean,
Yeah.
like how you're
Uh,
designing things now.
yeah, it was yeah, it was just my. I'm talking about this is about like my student era. Maybe I was doing graduation or something like that time.
Hmm.
And after that, a long time has passed. So I did many things. I don't actually remember doing all of them along, but whenever there was like a new thing, I fiddled with that. Game design, game thing, game development. I seriously took over it again during like 2011-12ish or so. Before that, I used to make small games like in Flash. So
Hmm.
uh, in 2011-12ish, Unity happened. So game engine was free for the first time. So and the scripting language of Unity was somewhat similar to ActionScript that we use in Flash. So I made a jump over there. So it was nice. It was nice because Unity had a large community, internet help, I didn't have to enroll in any institute like those, these take or whatever to actually learn something from somebody who doesn't know it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do that. We there was internet was coming up, so I could post in Unity forums and learn a lot from online resources from people who actually did it, from people who actually have
Mm.
done it.
Mm.
So not like these institute scammers or not.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was kind of mostly self-learned from everything from A to Z.
Yeah. Like
From
now, we have so much YouTube and so many online courses and everything. Earlier,
YouTube was not there
yeah,
yet
earlier there was no
because
internet.
those were kind of like dial-up era. Like you have to
Yes.
use
Yeah.
phone lines. So, and those are very slow. You could only
Yeah.
like visit web pages and read articles.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, education was through the kind of readable texts.
Mm,
So
yes.
and yeah, posting in forums. Posting in forums was a nice thing. I remember like actually having to talk with somebody outside my
Mm,
kind of network. It was a nice thing. So
yeah.
someone replying back with who kind of knows about it, about game development, because like nobody cares about games or something game development or something in my like periphery.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I no nobody. So I was the odd man out. So it was a hard time surviving, with your passion and all. Nobody was there to share it.
Mm,
Everybody was. My peers were actually all of my peers are actually middle managers. So they are mostly interested into which job to take and what
mm,
is the job market, something like that. So talking
yes.
about games and game development is something like they will like throw me out of the window.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
So
can imagine.
that was the yeah,
I
that was the first time I interacted with like-minded people. So
Yeah, it must
with
have given you a sort of a sense of community, right? I mean, so like-minded people finally.
yes. Yeah. That was the first time, and that was exciting.
Yeah.
Where we were not treated as nerds, or where there were people who are kind of more knowledgeable than us, and uh, they they kind of validate our like
Mm,
thing. Okay, this thing happened, so you do this, do that, and we managed to survive even after being born in place where people still don't play games.
so
you know
true. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
India is not a game playing country. It's yet to get there. It's
Yes.
doing little things bit by bit, tiny baby steps, but still a long way to go.
I mean, when you mentioned the career aspect of it, like what your peers were doing, it's just I can't help but ask, how did your family respond when like told them that I want to be a game developer for the, rest of my life?
Oh, I was no, my father was like too much concerned about me,
Mm.
and my mother was like, do what you want to. I was lucky in that. Do what you love. If you don't love it, you won't be able to make any progress in that. My
Yeah.
mother is not from some background who is very highly educated or something like that. Is a professor
Mm.
or something like that. She was a working lady, but I don't know where did she gather this wisdom that if you don't like a job, you won't. There is no point sticking with that.
So lovely, my
So
God. Yeah.
yeah, so and I was a fully kind of rebellious guy, like in my school, in
Yes.
my college, in my institutes. Everybody mostly feared me actually. Nobody tried to kind of fiddle with me because like they I was very 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 I'm still kind of very much frustrated with whatever education system throws at us,
Mm,
you know
mm, mm, mm.
so
Absolutely.
it's very painful. It's very painful The way they kind of kill talents and passions and everything systematically
Exactly.
is much more kind of gory than the thing Hitler did with Jews and all, So I felt that they killed all the. I remember my peers in my programming peers were having a lot of passion in kind of coding and stuff like that. I remember after going to the institute, they lost their passion. Like the institute killed them. All the teachers killed them, killed the passion. The teachers only teachers that they know. So this is the worst thing that can happen to a industry where every time the technology is changing. So
So true.
it was a bad time. So being that rebel, I didn't actually listen to anybody. I did what I want. So never in my life I don't remember actually tried to actually kind of follow somebody without kind of putting in my opinion or kind of thinking about it, or kind of if I didn't felt any feel like doing it, I'd never do anything. So it was there in my school days, in my college, and nobody, no teacher, nothing could have ever made me do anything. Yeah, ever made me. I still kind of uh, something like that. Everybody, if somebody I was like an average student or something. I never liked studying anyways. Never liked it because I was studying something else, always doing something out of the book. So the school curriculum never interested me. It was very robotic for stupid people or something like that. If you like literature, how can you be content with those things? If you
True.
like math, how can you be content with those things? So to be content with those things must be having a nature of doing something without liking it.
True.
So that is a something of a quality all my peers has kind of cultivated and developed.
Hmm.
So I could never actually evolve that quality within myself. So I never gave in to anything that tried to make me do something. So it was easy for me. It was not everybody from my family know that this boy cannot be molded or something.
Hmm.
So do what you want to do. So they told me that like I was not going to do anything else. So they know. So it was trials, errors, lots of failures, stuff like that. But it was an adventure. It still is. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, because it's an adventure. I mean, it's difficult even now, right? I mean, it's not one of the most, how do I put it? Not too many people, even now, take up game design or development that much. I mean, people are forced to go into engineering or medicine or something, but not
Yes.
into such creative career options.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, people are mostly fearful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
People they have more fear than love within themselves.
That
This is
is
the
so
main thing.
nicely. That is such a wonderful thing that you said.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, more
you are
fear
right.
than love. So fear is about the fear of survival. You cannot blame them. This is
Hmm.
Yeah.
about like we are kind of organisms that kind of likes to survive more than anything, because that was evolution has made us. So
Hmm. Hmm.
so doing something risky, doing something, going on an adventure is not that your brain permits actually. Rather than it permits something secure, something that will ensure your survival
Yeah.
in a short term, long.
So, welcome back again. Our connection got disconnected because we ran out of the permitted 40-minute thing that's given by Zoom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where were we? I think we were discussing uh, how Satyajit's parents were so supportive in his career decision, and
Yeah.
how the current situation is even today with game development and game design studies.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So the thing is like uh, I think mostly the from my generation the thing is still there today, but people have more exposure due to internet and all. People have
Yeah.
more exposure. The parents are even having more exposure. It's not like nothing is has changed or anything, something like that. Many things have changed, but still people are fearful and for their lives,
Mm.
so that they will die or something like that, like they want. So this is how we are structured. So we try to seek security, and video games or any kind of creative medium is there cannot be security as per se. You know,
True, true,
Yeah.
true, true.
it will always stay as an adventure. It is because
Mm.
it's creative. Creativity means like it's something new. So now something new is always out of the style, out of the business well tested formulas. That's why it will always be an adventure, right?
Mm.
So any kind of new film, any kind of new song, any kind of new music, any kind of new games or new anything will always be risk, and you cannot do anything about it. Whoever kind of tries to seek kind of security while being creative, it's not going to happen. There is no security, of course. There is the elements of freedom. There are ways. There are moments of joy, moments of failures or success or something like that. But there is no security. That's per se. There cannot be. If there is security in creativity, it won't be called creative things.
True, true.
So yeah, still games and game designs, but people there are lots of opportunity. I hope people will kind of their world will be more adventurous people than timid security seeking people. I hope the parents will lose the try to kind of let loose their pet kid.
Mm.
The kids are pets.
So
Like they have
true.
pets,
Mm.
they have domesticated them. So is this something like they should listen and sit when they are called sit or something like that?
Mm.
So most of the parents are authoritarian like that. So they kind of treat their kids like their pets, and they should kind of, if they kind of let loose their pets a little bit, let them be wild a little, you know.
Mm.
So they will find their way, and they will find like it's much worthwhile living a creative life than a secure kind of thing. What
Mm.
kind of life that is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then being a corporate
Find
slave. Yeah.
But parents do the opposite. They kind of inject the venom of insecure feeling, like the
Mm.
world is trying to kill you. Yeah, the whole world is kind of conspiring against you
Yes.
to kill you. So
If you
you
study
must,
video games, you will be killed.
yeah, yeah, something like that. So you must find a secure shelter, a very, in Counter Strike, that you enjoy to playing that. You can actually judge a player's character, like if you play Counter Strike with them,
Mhm.
kind of any kind of multiplayer game with them. It's very nice judge of character. You can do that with board games also. Like if you
Yeah.
play like a board game, you can judge their character a lot.
Yeah.
They will reveal their different kind of sides. So it happens in video games also. So one of my friends used to enter the Counter Strike arena and will always try to find a shelter, like with a camping site or something like that, where nobody will be able to see him, and he will not play the game. He will just be hidden and there all the way and try to uh, make a shot and then run again to his kind of hiding place. So we knew their threat, so we adjusted our playing like to find all the hiding places, and we always find him hiding, crouching, and hiding in a dark place and thinking nobody is kind of seeing him. Yeah. So and we just sneak behind him and just frag him over there. So this is something like that is going to happen with most of the these security seeking people. Life will find its way into them and it will frag them anyways. So they will be like they are like sitting ducks who kind of do that. All the adventure loving people, they may die, they may leave or whatever it is, but they will live the life of adventure. I hope the parents will let loose their kid a bit, but I don't see that even with my son's peers and all. All the other parents, they're all tiger parents. The tiger mom, tiger dad. They can kill their kid if something bad happens with their studies. And what are they studying? Plus, minus, or something like that. So this is such a horrible thing to do that. No logic can actually break this chase for secure future. They try to kind of preserve their genes. They say
Yeah.
I don't blame the parents, but video games is something for the adventurous kind. It's not for making video games. It's not for the security seeking people. No.
Absolutely. Even the general idea about video games, how they are so violent and gory and all of that. There's so much negative attitude associated with video games also.
Yeah.
This is a very kind of controversial thing. This negative, gory thing, like fragging, like killing each other and all, something like that. I think it's, in my opinion, it's kind of overrated, and those things are only kind of said by non-players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those
Exactly.
those who kind of play games, they know that killing a pawn in chess is same thing as killing
Absolutely.
somebody in a game. So you are not like violent against that pawn. It's a part of your strategy of winning. So
Yes.
it's a move. It's not something filled with hate, filled with rage. It's a move of the playing field, of the board. Any fragging any enemy is a move. It's not killing. It shouldn't be called kill. It looks like kill for a spectator. If your parents kind of come by and sneaks behind you and try to see what are you doing, you will say, oh man, so much blood everywhere. People are kind of bursting out, all the enemies burst. You play this kind of games. You're becoming such a violent person. The kid is like, oh man, how did I do? It's such a misconception floating around. I don't. If you ask any, how many actually? There are a lot of violence in this world, right?
True.
Yeah.
If somebody just do a random survey, how many of them are resulted from video games?
Yeah.
I don't think there is
Correct.
any logic
Exactly.
behind it, or if you won't be fighting, maybe you will find, oh, that guy played video. Absolutely. Like, why won't he? That terrorist played video games. Oh man, what did you think that he should do? He won't. He would kind of stay away from any mobile games or video games. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very.
like as a species, we have been violent much longer than we have had video games.
Exactly. Yeah, as a species.
And
Yes.
also, like, what about the medieval times? There was no video games back then, right?
Yeah.
And just do the kill counts. How many people are dying today? And how many people died in the medieval times?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
what was happening back then? Like, whom to blame? Like, so it's absolutely a stupid question, actually. while the games are there. But even so-called progressive parents doesn't understand that. I whenever some kids kind of chase me with this question, parent doesn't allow me to play video games. You know? I tell them to actually introduce board games in your house. You shouldn't play video games all the time anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it shouldn't do anything all the time.
All the
Like
time.
getting
Yeah,
some
exactly. Exactly.
True.
it makes you like like very bad. Like it cuts deep trenches in your brain, you know, and
Yeah.
you'll always be in those trenches. You'll not get outside them. So it's some becomes something like a condition. So you play a bit of Catan or any other board game, you know, those are quite enjoyable things, and very people should appreciate different forms of games, you know, like
Yeah.
board games, tabletop. There are
Yeah.
RPGs, you know. I introduced my kid to RPGs, you know. They were RPG session. He enjoyed that a lot. Those imaginative stories
Yeah.
and combats, and you know, so it's not like people should always play video games. They should play different kind of games. And I also kind of try to prevent my kid playing some kind of sticky game all the time, you know. So he should play games, but different kind of games, and should be very aware of those. Some of the games are very kind of sticky in nature because they are designed like that. So they should avoid, identify and avoid them. I told him to actually avoid any game with in-app purchases. So,
That is a great
or
advice.
yeah,
Any game with
anything.
what?
So,
Any game with
in-app,
what?
yeah, in-app purchases, yeah.
Acha, acha, acha. In-app purchases. Acha, acha, yeah.
Yeah. So I told him to
Yeah, that's a
not play
good
those
decision.
games. Not play those games, and I told him like how the game designers conspire to and becomes greedy to introduce those things, those game of experience where you won't be. He knows everything, like what is like play to win, what is pay to win, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but there were other games. He has an iPad and plays games on iPad only. And there is the Apple introduced Apple Arcade that with 99 rupees per month you can have a lot of great single player games, you know, wonderful games. And also different type of experiences and all. Sometimes he kind of goes into Among Us, but I try to kind of tell him to actually divert your things in several things.
Yeah.
Don't kind of focus in one thing.
Absolutely.
But sometimes games are very well made now. So some of the addictive personalities kind of sometimes
Yes.
surfaces.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
parents need to be kind of need to be very alert kind of with that. Also, like some of the parents kind of leave their kids with a phone. That's a very bad thing to do. They can get into trouble, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my mostly experience. And so what else can we talk about?
Yeah, actually, I also wanted to talk about the the meets you organize and the game jams, but I think we should keep that for another day. Like, what does Poonam think?
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, we could keep it for because we have already. It's been a long,
Yeah.
it's been a long podcast. Yes,
Yeah, we can do that another day. Like we can have Satyajit
Sure.
over another day.
but we
Sure,
could
sure.
we could just maybe hear it in like in a short, in brief maybe. So you ask the question. Let's see. I'm so curious to hear Shwetaji.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Satyajit started like organizing meets for local devs and everything, and I was also invited. I think I went once. I think one day I think I went. Satyajit
Yeah,
remembers,
yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
Wow.
So that is a very interesting like endeavor, like getting people together, like getting devs
yeah.
to
It,
exchanging ideas and everything.
it's kind of like it happens once in a while right now over Google Meet. It's but Google Meet is actually is great actually, better than those physical meets in some
Yeah.
ways. Physical
Yeah.
meets have their own kind of thing, but Google Meet is also nice because people can don't have to travel, so there are more kind of participation. So
Oh,
Yeah.
um, yeah, people can join from Canada, US, or Bangalore, and show off their stuff and all, and also have chit chats. So it's nice. It's not that bad. But we are a mostly hermit kind of people. So
Yeah.
I organize that actually to actually have some fresh air, So once in a while, actually have a little bit of coffee or whatever, and have some physical interaction. Uh, it's much needed for any people are social animals, right?
true,
So
Yeah.
true.
we need some kind of way to actually kind of release kind of tension and stress through these physical means. I hope this after this COVID period is over, we will resume that physical meets because that is going to stay. It's not going to convert itself into Google Meets. So
Yes,
yeah, even if sometimes the participant number kind of went down to one or two people. Sometimes we got a nice bunch. People always moves out of Calcutta, so many of them have kind of gone out. So very few of them are there in Calcutta. So the team is getting the group is getting narrower and narrower. So it's what we can do. We kind of have small addas, whatever.
like this one.
Like
This
hopefully,
feels
hopefully
like
more
Yeah,
people will come. Yeah.
yeah. Something like this. Poonam is in Hyderabad, I think so, right?
yes, I am
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
I'm not in Hyderabad, right? I mean, it feels like
Okay.
I'm in Hyderabad because, well, but I'm in Baharampur right now. I have come
Born. Okay.
hmm,
You have just come for this
because of the
COVID thing,
lockdown. Yes.
yeah,
My
lockdown
heart is
thing.
in
So
Hyderabad.
yeah, so that this is only happening because we are kind of doing it online.
Yes.
Organizing this in physical thing would be
Yes.
like a little bit more, require a little bit more effort, right? So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's, online meet was not that popular, right? Before this
Yeah. Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so this is something that is going to be a boon
Yes.
due to
So
this
true.
this bad even bad things had some of the good things, good outcomes.
Yes.
Anyway,
We have finally
so
realized that we don't actually have to meet in person for so many things. We can just use the
yeah,
internet.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
All right
And
then.
you organized.
Sorry? Yeah, you go on,
Oh,
Aniket.
I was- No, here you organized also the Sharadya Game Jam this year.
What?
The Sharadya Game Jam you organized
Oh
during.
yeah, the game jam, the Shadya game jam. I kind of started organizing 2 years or so, 2 3 years or so. Before
Acha.
that, I organized two jams actually. One of them is Global Game Jam that get organized in January, and
Acha.
one of them is Shadia Game Jam. Shadia Game Jam is kind of confined with that Kolkata Game Developers group, you know.
Acha.
So it's very lesser participants. So it's about like for finding new people, having fun, finding new people, and do something with games. And we have prizes in that. So we have some jury in that. So people who are participating, everybody gets some kind of feedback. Because
Oh,
the
I
type,
see.
because the participant strength is much lower, like 8 10 people or something like that. So we our jury can actually individually critique every game and write up all the pros and cons. That's a very
Yeah.
big thing that people can receive rather than in instead of kind of going into big jams. In the big jams, because there are so many participants, the jury cannot actually attend the persons who are kind of doing bad things, doing mistakes. They can
Yeah.
only kind of promote those who have made good games. So
Yeah.
Right.
that is in a way bad thing, actually, in a way bad thing, because only the kind of winners or survivorship bias is kind of taking place over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
Correct.
there people who are not actually performing that well, who are making gross mistakes, they are needed to be attended first, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in a hospital, you don't attend the people who doesn't require help, right?
Yeah.
Most of the attention should go with the person who is the weakest or the most troubling, facing the most trouble in making those games.
Yeah. I,
Okay.
I I feel the same thing as a teacher, like in a classroom.
Yeah, that is the thing. We are kind of upturned it. Like,
Yeah.
we go with the first boy or second boy or whatever. That
He
all
needs
the talented persons. So they don't require you. They don't require you. They will be they will be fetching like high score in competitive
exactly.
exam. Nevertheless,
Exactly.
what are you? They won't be even remembering you. But if you help like a struggling person, struggling
Yeah.
student, he'll remember you, because he got some value from you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So got some real value from you. They will appreciate you more. But as I said, I don't like this education system. The education system has this thing turned upside down. That thing also goes into this game jam as well, big game jams as well. They kind of pick winners.
Hmm.
What the hell? Winners. We have also winners, but we mostly like, it's about like the winner thing is there to actually appreciate the most kind of we need to appreciate creativity as well. But what about the people who needs attention? What
Hmm.
about
Yeah.
the in Sharjah Game Jam? Everybody gets the same. Every participant gets the same amount of critique or help from the jury, so that they can identify their mistakes
Yeah.
in this case. And okay, they rethink. Okay, this because when you are making game, you won't be able to see the mistakes in it. You know, you
Correct.
need
Correct.
somebody to point it out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
a teacher or a peer to point it out,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it's very important. And they're helpless. Even me, if I make a game, I'm helpless with that. I cannot see anything bad in that, you know
Yeah. Yeah.
so I need something up, even a wall or something like that to bounce it off, so it's very important to have this jam, provided they kind of give feedback. I
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't like those jams, those who kind of people go and find themselves that, oh, I'm a loser. You know, oh, I am not being able to make a game. This game thing is not for me. So they are make in those jams, they are
Yeah.
creating more losers than winners. So are they
Yeah.
actually helping the community? I
Yeah,
don't think.
people are getting discouraged more.
Discouraged. More people are getting discouraged than the people who are getting encouraged.
Yeah.
So maybe they just made a little mistake in their game.
Yeah.
Although I'm talking about the loser, maybe just somebody over that period, oh, you just need to do this, something like that. They figured maybe all the other things are just only that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was no, if nobody is going to, if they, nobody points that out to him, if
Yeah.
this goes into in a classroom as well. If nobody points
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to him, he will always live under the idea that I am a worthless person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how are it's kind of going to help the thing? How is this going to? I don't know. But we need something, a machinery where people gets kind of not, it doesn't get kind of smashed at the nursery stage or budding stage. We
Yeah. Yeah.
need nurseries. We don't need child killing fields.
Yeah.
People are
So
very
true.
sensitive when they are budding. When they make their first game or second game. So we need nurturing that way. We need more manure in the soil. We need a cover, whatever. So
Yeah.
rather than that, we are subjecting them to kind of harsh weather, like of a competition or something like that. Huh? Is this
Yeah.
going to do some help? I don't think so. I hate exams. I my kid was like scared of maths, right? Where? Like because of those exams,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, 5827, you divide it by 324, you know. Even you, me, and Poonam will be bored and will just we
Yeah.
won't do that even if we get paid.
True.
So,
I do not like maths. I mean, I used to be
no,
so scared of
why?
maths as well.
No, those are not maths. This is large division. You don't do those kind of mechanical things. Our
Yeah.
brain is not for that. You don't
Correct.
do huge
Correct.
multiplication. You make the process. Subjecting your brain to something it's not for, and you are kind of penalizing and humiliating a child because of that, and
Mm-hmm.
you are kind of kind of have put him into like this kind of exams kind of situation where you have to do those things. Other than that, you won't get marks. It's a complete disaster. Complete
Yeah.
disaster.
So true.
So
So
I
true.
I told him like math is not bad. Math exams is bad.
Yeah.
Math doesn't have any problem with it. Your
Yeah.
teachers have problem with it.
The way it's
The exam
taught, the
system has
examination
problem with it.
system. Hmm.
So just if you, for example, if you like art or something like that, or like singing, or like games, you like games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now convert it to like you have to do exams on game design or
Wow.
game studies or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Now it takes a different shape.
Yeah.
Oh man. If I like tell you, okay, Aniket and Poonam, I have made a like MCQ for game. You are game studies enthusiasts, so go through it and let's see who scores most. Now everything changes. The whole climate changes. Everything, dark clouds kind of creeps in from every side.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God, that is
all
so
the
scary. I'm
so
so
scary,
happy
very
it's not like that.
yeah, we throw all the passion out with
Mm,
Yeah.
exams,
Becomes a
correct.
rat
out
race.
of the context exams, especially.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, that is there. So I organize these Sharjah games, and it's a very small endeavor, and less participation. But I am very happy with that because we don't need a huge group, and there
Mm-hmm.
is no point doing that megalomaniac thing. Nobody gets benefited from that.
Yeah.
This is a small space, so it should promote people and encourage people, everybody.
Yeah.
It has prizes, so that if somebody thinks it that way, let me do it. If somebody is sitting on the fence, should I do it? Should it not? Maybe the prize, lure of the prize will help, or whatever, or lure of the some kind of exposure will help.
Yeah.
So,
All right, we just got a reminder from Zoom again.
Yeah. Yeah. I
We
got
have to.
okay, yeah, we have 10 minutes. So anything else we can? I can go. I am like a addabaz, So if you don't have to kind of Zoom is kind of
Not enough.
not
Yeah.
Not enough.
the
Totally not enough.
not at all. So we need something else. Okay, next time
Absolutely.
Google Meet or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yes.
and we still have 9 minutes. Anything to catch up with?
I was going to ask you about what do you think about the future of, games in India. But I really liked how you made small points all through the conversation that it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be, you know, like you said, it
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
be killed at the bud, right? We should let it nurture. We should
Yeah.
let our kids decide what they want. The education system needs to be made
Very,
better.
very, very fearful. Bad, not very
Mm,
bad, good.
mm,
I tell the fearful. But if you remember the quote from Benjamin Franklin, he was great at quotes, right? One kid.
mm.
So he told like people who choose security instead of freedom deserves neither.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah, it's a famous quote from
That's
it.
actually a very fitting quote for the modern political climate as well.
Yes, 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 yes. So
Yeah.
it you can put this quote any in any phase of
Yeah,
life. So
yeah,
it's something parents should understand. But they are fearful as well. I guess. And right now, what we are seeing in Indian scenario, coming back to your question in a small way, we don't that the community is still not there. It's
Correct.
budding. The help from the community is still not there. If
Hmm.
you make a game, nobody is there to actually critique it. Nobody is there. Even I posted a game. I made a game just recently and wanted to have a feedback. Nobody from my peers gave any kind of lengthy feedback of that or something like that.
Hmm.
Oh, good, looking good. It's not a feedback, right? So the feedbacks I got is from outside forums where people are more sensible, where the society has progressed. In India, we are still
Correct.
in kind of tribal state, like tribal society. It's not like a progressive society at all. This is
True.
this is a tribalistic nature, and we are kind of doing that. So this is hurting, but the game is for games are for little bit advanced societies where people form communities
Hmm.
and help each other. There is no kind of competition of kind of grabbing lands, like people are doing there in Indian game communities. Everybody is
Correct.
trying to be a hero or something like that.
So true.
I am the like people
yeah,
should
Look
do
at
not
me. I
compete.
have so many awards.
And
Look
look
at
at
me.
me,
So many
yeah,
downloads and
this
all of
thing,
that.
that thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just praise me or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
stupid, so stupid. This kills many passion, many developers, many people, many aspiring people. There is People should just be a little more civilized in kind of answering questions, answering developers, answering, helping community, your juniors. So there is none right now. There is
Hmm.
very few, very few.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and uh, so it will take a lot of time for India to actually get anywhere close to any. Not only India, this is same for Indonesia, Malaysia,
Hmm. Hmm.
Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Whoa, all are mostly colonized people. Colonization has kind of it's a kind of you can find this pattern into colonized states.
Right. Right.
yeah,
So we cannot do anything. We cannot change the history. Um, we It's a long way down. It's not anywhere. Like even the gamers are not anywhere. Forget about the game
Hmm.
developers.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
We are
So true.
something. If you compare, it's not like the game industry is kind of backwards industry or something like that. You can compare it to other creative industry also. Like what about the comic books? What about the animation films? What about the other where the visual creativity is there? What about the science fiction movies? You know, we are backwards in many areas, many
Hmm.
areas. So
yeah,
why blame games only for that? How many
Correct.
globally popular comic books are there? Globally popular animation films are there from India. Animation is not at all producing anything.
Hmm.
Even
yeah,
the indies are doing something. So
yeah,
little by little, it will get some exposure, but it's a very hard trek. Like uphill struggle. It's not good. Like I hope it will change in the future, but
Yes.
it's a hard thing. It's not
yeah,
easy, and it shouldn't be easy as well. It shouldn't be easy. Why should it be easy? India is not going to get some vardhan, right? From Brahma, he will just give you the greatest games designers of the planet. Many game industry, many things has to come together. So it
yeah,
will take a lot of time.
All right, then. I think we should now close the podcast. So it was
yeah.
really lovely to have you, Satyajit. The conversations were so amazing. So many, so
Thank
many.
you for having me in your show.
Yeah, I'm so happy. And I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to Aniket for being my co-host. And with that, let's just say goodbye, and
Yeah.
we will upload this podcast to the Facebook page soon, and we will see what we get.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we will see
Thank
you
you.
soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
We should have a new. We should have another Adda very soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, sure. Ping me up anytime.
Absolutely.
No problem.
All
Thank
right
you.
then.
All right.